Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, y'all. It is us. We are here with coffee chats. Unfiltered, honey. Get your coffee cups up. Cheers. We're getting ready to have some great conversation today, as normal.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and introduce myself and then I'll turn it over to my co-host. I am Cynthia Merritt, and I found myself at approaching my retirement years, and I said, oh my gosh, things seem to be changed. I had to put some changes in place, y'all, because my money was looking really, really funny. Money was funny, and we don't want funny money, y'all. We wanted some good things going on. And some other things had to change too. I had to make some changes, and I'm so excited about the changes I made. So Val and I have some good life experience lessons that we would like to pass on to everyone. People may have the same lessons that they have learned. That is wonderful. And we can definitely get some high fives on that if we come to those things. But we want to share what we've got because it may help someone who needs that information, even if it's one person, y'all. We want to make a difference in someone's life. So you don't have to make the mistakes we made, and you can do some of the great things that we did to enhance your life. Let me turn it over to my co-host.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. I am Valerie. I am 53 years old. And like Cynthia said, honey, my money was looking funny. Not only that, my brain was foggy. So I had to cleanse my soul, detox my mind, and start to get it all together and get it right again. So we came up with this channel. Cynthia came up with this channel, and she so graciously invited me. And I was like, you know what? This is what the people need. This is what the world needs. Because everyone, I guarantee you, the things that we've been through and going through, there's somebody out there that's going through the same thing. So we may have suggestions, you may have suggestions, but the big thing about it is that we open for it all. We're open for it because we're tired of our money being funny. We're tired of our brain being fogged. We're tired of our soul being just drenched. We're tired of these finances, just financing, and life is life. So we are here for it all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those last two Val just mentioned, finances, financing, and life being lifing or lifing, those are going to be. So what we have to do is put the changes in place to make those two items better. And that's what we're doing here is letting you know what we have done to help our situations in those two areas get better.
Right. Right.
So today, y'all, we're talking about something that a lot of us in our 50s and above are actually dealing with because there are so many people in the United States, at least, that are single. Now, your singlehood may be because you chose to be single, you're happily single, or it could be because you divorced after a lengthy marriage. Could be because you're widowed
Right.
after a lengthy marriage. You know, whatever the situation is, you found yourself single again. And so we have to tackle three different areas when we're single again. And I'll tell you, after my husband passed, I have been engaged a couple of times, but I've spent quite, and you see I'm not married, so those didn't go to the wedding altar, honey. So we I have spent a lot of time dating after 1998. I've spent a lot, so I have a lot of experience in dating. So the areas we're talking about today, did you say something, Val?
I said same here. Same here.
Okay,
That's
sounds good, Val. We're on the same page with that.
Mhm.
So we're talking today about love, sex, and intimacy after 50. So those areas are structured to encourage engagement and openness with our relationships and thoughtful conversation with each other. Now, I have a question I want to ask you, Val. Val, what is one myth about love after 50 that you've heard or even believe?
Well, the myth that I heard was dating and falling in love after 50 will be even harder than your 20s and 30s because everyone is set in their ways. But I have to say that may be true in a sense, but it's all about compromising. So if you are with someone and you want to be with someone, that age doesn't matter. Those things that you've done, those things of old that you've done, they just become not done anymore. It's okay to undo and to figure out new things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big scary thing for me. And also I would say, because I heard that and I believe that was embedded in my mind. So then
Mm-hmm.
when I think back, I'm like, well, how many relationships that I screwed up because I believed that in my mind?
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, how many did I let pass me because
Exactly.
I believed that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
really not true.
Mm-mm.
It's
It
not
is.
true. It's not you. If you can be 17,
Mm-hmm.
27, 37, 47, 57, 67, 77. If it's
Mm-hmm.
someone that you want to spend your life with, you learn how to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say this too. I remember years ago, I used to watch this little old skit of Eartha Kitt, and she would be saying, compromise. What is compromise? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to compromise. And I lived with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how am I going to be happy if I don't compromise?
Yes.
Not to the point that I'm going to lose who I am.
Right.
Compromise to the point where I'm open to accept you, where I'm open to love you, where I'm open to understand you. You know?
Right. Absolutely, Val. And compromise really is the key to a successful relationship because nobody's going to get, neither one of you guys are going to get everything you want in the relationship your way all the time.
Absolutely.
Compromise is like making a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get, like I do with real estate. I'll give you this much, you give me this much. You guys
Mm-hmm.
have to, come to a compromise to where everybody feels like, okay, I gave something, but look what I got in return. And I love this person and I'm willing to do that. And that's what compromise is all about. First, you have to know the person. You have
Right.
to get to know them. You have to respect them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
love them. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're willing to make a compromise and
That
do
is
those.
so true. That is
Hmm.
so true. And if it doesn't come, I'm not going to say if it doesn't come easy, it's not real, because you have to work for everything. But I
Absolutely.
also believe if you have to work too hard, where it becomes stressful and painful, then you need to just sit back and think about what it is that you really want, what this person really wants. Uh,
Hmm.
Relationships aren't easy, but I just don't believe that they're designed to be so hard where they break you.
Exactly. I agree with you, Val. And the key to that is finding the right person. When you
Exactly.
find the right person, then it doesn't seem easy, but it's simple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
because you're there, you love that person, and it things just become simple, to do because they come naturally. But and let me just say this before I go to my myth, y'all. I do have on a t-shirt today. I have on my Falcons t-shirt because we're in football season, and it's almost shameful to say that, but I do because I'm starting a new season. I'm giving them a chance. And my son told me, he said, well, I'll give them a chance when they take us to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
So, and
okay.
I can feel that. I can feel that. We wait till they get us to the Super Bowl and then we can get on board with the Falcons. But I'm starting out right. Anywho,
My son is a diehard Falcons fan too, honey. So hey,
oh, good.
he is
Okay. Well, tell
he
him
loves
I
the
said
Falcons.
yes. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. So my myth is that true intimacy requires physical sex. And that's not true
No,
because you have
ma'am.
to look at what intimacy is. And this goes back to the point that Val just made when you
Mm-hmm.
have to have the right person in your life and
Mm-hmm.
you're able to make those compromises.
Yes.
Intimacy, intimacy is actually a deeper connection and it involves emotional closeness, you guys, and
Yes.
understanding,
Mm-hmm.
not just physical sex. And that's where I feel a lot of people mess their relationships up
True.
because, first of all, if you're physically attracted to somebody, um, that's easy. I mean, your eyes can just
Mm-hmm.
see what you're attracted to, and then you're physically attracted to that person. that person could be the complete opposite of everything you want in a partner.
That's true.
But you're blinded, Val,
Hmm.
by the physical attraction.
And you do. You do. You got to look deeper than that. It's got to be deeper than that.
Mhm.
Because sometimes, look, that physical attraction, we want it to be there for 80 years, 90 years, 200 years, but sometimes it's not there. So you got to have more than that. You got to see beyond that.
Mhm. Yep, 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 yep. So you have to look at what is the end goal. Do you want to just date this person for physical sexual activity, or do
Mm-hmm.
you want to gain a relationship that's solid with intimacy, and
Exactly.
then you proceed from there?
Exactly. Because you want that intimacy that's beyond, that's within your heart and within your soul, the intimacy that's within conversation. I'm sorry, the intimacy that's within conversation, the intimacy that's within just understanding each other, doing things together. Um, oh my God, when I say understanding, you can
Mhm.
have the best conversation that can set you so far up there with someone, because that means you're tied to each other, soul tied.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
type of intimacy that you want. That's the type of
Absolutely.
intimacy that you need, that soul tie.
Mhm.
Oh, girl, I like this conversation, honey. Give me a little sippy sip.
I know, I know. So when you look at the differences from what you had in your 20s and 30s as
Mhm.
opposed to where you are now, what are the differences that you see in dating? That was something that what was important to you in your 20s and 30s, and how you were looking at the relationships as opposed to now in your 50s.
Okay. I will say in my 20s and 30s, I didn't understand when you was told, oh, you want to be with someone that's going to take care of you. In my mind, I thought it would just give me everything, that material thing. I
Mm,
didn't understand that it was now at 50, I know that it's not material thing. I want you to take care of my heart, my soul. I want to be able to sit out on that porch with you. And if I can't get up to go get my water, you can.
mhm,
I want to be able to sit across from the table from you and have a conversation that's deep, and that's how you're taking care of me. You're providing for me in a way that is, the provision is all over. It's everything. It's not
mm,
just material things. Yes, make sure that I'm okay, but make sure that I have that soft place to land. Make
yes.
sure that I don't have to be that strong tower and strong anchor where I forget who I am, where I forget that I am a woman, where I forget that I am your helpmeet, where I forget that um, I'm here to make your day easier. And you know what, Cynthia, this is something I exercise now. Lord knows I did not exercise this in my 20s, 30s, and not in my 40s. When my fiance, I ask him every day, how is it, or what is it that I can do for you today to make your life easier, to make your day go easier? So I'm telling him that I'm open for him to be vulnerable with me, and to let him know that I'm here to help him with anything that he may need.
Mhm,
Now, half the time I know it's not something that I can possibly do, but
mhm,
then again, there may be just little things. And most
mhm,
times he will say no. And then he say, you know what? You know, I do need to da 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 blase, blase, blase. And
mhm.
then I feel so good because I put that out there, because if I wouldn't have said anything, I
Yep,
would have known how I can
exactly.
help make his day easier.
Come on.
So now in my 50s, I want to make sure that he's just as great as I am.
Mhm,
There's
mm,
no turmoil on his brain as there's no turmoil on my brain. So
yes.
it's a whole lot different. Whole lot different.
Yes, and,
Yeah.
and just knowing that you have that partner
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on your side next to you, no
Yeah.
matter what you go through. It could be something, and in many times it's something that only I can remedy. However, if I have someone to hold me and
Uh-huh.
say,
Uh-huh.
baby, it's going to be okay.
Yes.
We're going to get through this, or you're going to get through this. Just knowing you have
Mm-hmm.
that support
Yeah.
is amazing. It does something to your mental psyche. It
It
really does.
does. It feels so good. It feels good
Yes.
to know that. And when you realize you got it, it's like as I used to say, all is right with the world.
I love that. All is right with the world.
All is right.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
Cynthia, let me ask you something.
Hmm.
So I did go through this. When it
Okay.
comes to the dating apps, navigating through the dating apps and
Hmm.
social events or matchmaking, how at 50 in our 50s going having to go on those type dating things, if you have ventured out into those type areas, how did it make you feel? What were the results? Was it draining? Was it tiresome? Or what were your thoughts on that? Or have you even considered any of those avenues?
Okay. Excellent question. So actually, I have a ebook that I have written about dating app dating. And I'm finishing it once, and I'm gonna tell you why I stopped.
Mhm.
Because I have the dating apps have been fantastic for me. I've
Mhm.
loved it.
Okay.
I have met, yes, I've met some great human beings, some great guys. We didn't have, everybody didn't have a connection, but those of us who didn't have the connection, when I realized this isn't him, we still had developed a friendship.
Okay, that's good.
And girl, and I've got, these are some great guys,
Mhm.
just stand up guys. And
Mhm.
so I really love that I've gotten some really good friendships from that. I actually got one fiance from there. One of my fiancés was from there, and then also several, relationships,
Okay, that's good.
romantic relationships, but they just
Mhm.
didn't work out. Once
Mhm.
my thing is, but I think they're great. You
Okay.
have to there, and this is where what I go into with my ebook on how to do the dating app successfully,
Mhm.
because I have nothing but positive comments about the dating
Okay,
apps.
good.
You have to know how to navigate them, and you
Yeah.
have to know what to do, and how to set your profile up, how to screen the guys, and
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
get the right guys and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But to answer your question, navigating the dating apps for me, I love the dating apps.
See, you did a whole lot better than I did because when I
Oh, really?
tried the dating apps, oh my goodness, I think, well, number one, I think I really didn't give it enough time. I didn't put enough time in it. I would forget to respond to messages. And by the time I did, it'd be weeks later. And,
Oh
or,
yeah, that was that
yeah,
was it.
that was me. And another thing is, okay, then they would say, oh, well, I don't want to spend a lot of time chit chatting on here. Can I have the number? I would give the number. And then three times I decided to meet three different individuals. And the the first individual seemed to be okay. And then out of nowhere, I don't know what happened. I don't know. The whole conversation changed and everything. The second time I decided to meet the person and and he said, you know what? We go together. I just met you. We don't go together. He's like, well, I
Right,
think
right,
you should not be on the dating app anymore. Scratch
right,
that.
right, right.
Scratch that. And the third one, oh my God. The guy asked me for money for his business on a
Oh,
phone
okay,
call. On a phone call.
okay. On the phone call?
Yeah, just on it. We was on the phone. The second phone call that we had.
Now I'm curious to know, how did he actually phrase that?
He said that he had started a business. He had a lawn care service, and he was doing really well. However, he got this big account that's open that he's bidding for. Asked me, did I know anything about bidding, which I did. So I gave him some suggestions, and he was like, "Oh well, if I get this account, then I'm gonna have to prove that I have this. I got to do this. I got to do this." And I'm like, "Boy, yeah, mostly for government accounts. You will have to show and prove what you have and how many employees and all this type of stuff." And then he said, "Well, I need to get." And then he said, you know what? You know a lot about business. Why don't you go ahead and I don't want to say be a partner, but a silent partner. And why
Mm-hmm.
don't you invest? So my eyes did just like this.
That's interesting.
Click.
That's interesting. But you know what? And I would call those, I would actually, because in my book, in my ebook, I go through this exact thing that you're
Mhm,
talking about, because I
mhm,
think that that was very successful for you, because you were able to, what I do, I only do, if I get on a dating app, I do it
mhm,
for 30 days. 30
mhm.
days. That's it. That's all I
Okay.
need.
Okay.
And then you get flooded with people, but you
Mhm.
have to be there to respond to people now.
Right. Right.
So you got to, because I only have 30 days, so I'm trying to my goal is to weed people out,
Out.
to screen the
Mhm.
bad people
Mhm.
out. That's
Right.
why I'm responding. And then the few that get through, those are the ones I'll say immediately. I'll say this: let's meet for coffee.
Mhm.
And the reason I say that is because I don't have time to sit here and chit chat on the internet. When you could be, you know how it is when people are behind a wall, an internet
Right.
wall, they could be saying or doing anything. I
Right.
want to see your face. If I sit
Mhm.
across from you at a table and we're having a conversation,
Mhm.
in 10 minutes, I can tell, because I thank God for my spirit of discernment. I
Discernment.
can
Mhm.
tell if you're full of ish,
Uh-huh.
or
Mhm.
if you are, if you're real. I can feel your spirit in our
Right.
conversation.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
So that's all I need. I need to meet you face to face, but
Mhm.
only the people who get through my screening process on the 30 days will even
Mhm.
go to the
Right.
coffee
Right.
meeting. You know, and so
Mhm.
that's how I do that. And so by the end of the 30 days, I got some good guys. So then
Mhm.
I have to choose and see who I'm feeling, you know.
Right. Mhm.
Hmm.
That's that
Yeah.
comparing, seeing
Yeah.
what's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that that was successful because all three of them showed you who they were on that first day. You'd be
Right up
like,
front.
"You
Yes.
out of here, boo." I know.
Oh, girl, that was something else. But yeah, don't I didn't. Yeah, I'm glad I missed all that,
I know. I know. I know. I know.
girl.
But
Mm,
and the reason I stopped writing my ebook is
mm,
because my last guy that I was dating, we were doing well, and then it he showed his representative stopped showing up, and then I saw the
mm.
real him, and then I said, oh, okay. And it's usually about the 2 year mark that
I was
I'm
gonna
able.
say, how long did it take?
2 years of
Uh,
dating in a serious relationship,
mhm,
because he was able to cover things up and, pretend, how it is when they have
mhm,
the representative out there looking
mhm,
all good and suave and everything, and saying the right things, doing the right things, and you can see it in their life. But there were some things I saw in his life that were like, this is not
mhm,
good.
mhm, mhm,
So then a lot of that started showing up. And so then finally I just broke up with him. And then I said, well, I'll finish the book after I have another successful story. But I haven't had even time to even think about doing that anymore right
mhm,
now. Yeah.
mhm. I get it. I
Anywho.
understand.
But when we're talking about like changing the dynamics of these long-term relationships, we're looking at whether it shifts into marriage, you guys, or if it's just going to stay a relationship. These are the kinds of things you have to think about.
Mhm,
Or if you're retiring uh due to your age, you're at the
mhm,
retirement age, or if you're an empty nester and children are gone, if you're divorced and you're 50 and above, they call a gray divorce, if yours is
mhm,
one of the gray divorces.
mhm,
This usually has emotional and financial impacts on your life.
mhm.
So, what we have to do at that point is redefine our partnership goals, because of that stage of life that we're in.
That's true.
And, I know a lot of people who say they're in their 50s and 60s and they've been married for decades. And they're like, well, if anything happens to Joe Blow, their spouse or whatever, then I'm never getting married again.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and I can understand where they're coming from, because I say, yeah, I understand, because they're like, you have to put too much into a marriage for me to even think about trying to start over with someone and doing all this again.
Girl.
But that's if you're going to get into a marriage.
Mhm.
So, because the compromising, and usually that's what they bring up mostly is the compromising. First, the trust issues, the
Mhm.
trust factor, not the trust issues, but the
Mhm.
trust. And it could be some trust issues because if they have been hurt before, due to trust. But if you're gonna do all that again, if like Val and I were just saying, y'all, if it's the right person,
Right.
it won't feel like so much work.
True.
It really
True.
won't. And you guys at this stage in life are so much more mature
Yes.
about love and relationships. Like you were just talking about, Val, with the differences from your 20s and 30s to now, and how we know what to expect from a partner. And
Mhm.
if you don't see that, cut it off right away. It's like if he can't come up and be a partner, and be willing to support me, not financially, but
Right.
support me,
Mhm.
just in everything.
Mhm.
And then or and I'm saying he, and it could be a she, if you're
Mhm.
male, female, whatever.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
your partner, if they're not willing to support, those kind of things, that at this point in life, you just have to look at those and how the dynamics are changing in those long-term
Mhm.
relationships. It
Right.
can be that you want to just remain in a relationship and be
Mhm.
travel partners and
Mhm.
and and
And that's
just part.
fine.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. It's sometimes you don't know what you need when you need it until it's there.
Exactly.
So you have to look at that too. Sometimes I know for a long time I've always wanted to, at least I felt like I've always wanted to be in a relationship. I really, really, really did. I really did. And I always saw it. I was like, oh, I'm made to be married. I'm made to be married. But there was a period in my life where I didn't feel like I was made to be married. And all I wanted to do was just date. So I guess it was, I won't even say it was a phase I was going through. It was just something that was going on in my life. And I had to, when I think back to that, I think about where I was at that point in my life from a mental standpoint,
Mm,
from working, being a single mother, all those things came into factor, was a factor of how I was feeling at that point. But the real me, the real representation of Valerie is a woman that wants to be married, who likes being married, who wants to be in a relationship. So I felt like that's why I would always date. My son would say, "Well, you're dating, but you break up with this guy and then you want to be found again." I said, "Yes, because I love being with someone. It's not that I
mhm.
need."
Right.
And I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that too, because sometimes women do. Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Well,
Right.
baby,
I
I
do.
understand that, but it's designed to have a man.
Mhm.
It's
And I
designed to
have no problem saying I need a man. I need a
exactly
man for just me, not
for
to
me.
take care of me. Right, Val?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I can't have a full-blown, great heart-filled conversation with my sisters, my children, my friends. I've got to do this with my companion or this candidate
Yes.
to be my companion. So so I kind of hate to hear when women say, "Oh, I don't need a man. I don't want a man." I don't need a-" Come on, sister. Come on,
Mhm.
come on.
Mhm.
Let's be real. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
What is your need for? What is your desire?
Right.
Is it much more than, like you're saying, sexual? Is it much more than that? When it's from the heart and mind and soul, you need
Mhm.
that companion. You need that. So, if now, and even when I was single, and some of the questions over 50, when you're choosing to stay single, embracing independency and self partnership. All right. So, embracing independency, that's a lot. But
Mhm.
when you're an independent woman, it doesn't seem very hard. But here
Mm-mm.
again, you still want to remember, I want that soft place to land. All
Yes.
right. The stigma versus improvement to choosing to stay solo. Here again, I know a lot of individuals that like, no, I just want to be single. I just want to be single. I just want to be single. What is the reasoning for being single? What is the outcome? What is the end goal with being single? Um, I recall when I announced that I was engaged to some of my single friends, some of them didn't like that. They
Oh.
were like, "Oh yeah." Haven't talked to them since then either. um, They didn't like it. They was like, oh, I think I want to be out here in these single streets. Well, I was never in the single street like that.
Right.
But if that's
Yeah.
your choice, then do so.
Right.
It's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine. Um,
Yeah.
so you have a choice to stay single. You have that choice, but just know why you want to be that way. What is
Mm-hmm.
the purpose? There's nothing wrong with being single. I used to tell people everybody in the Bible were not married, which is true. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not true. So what is your purpose of being single? That's just how you thrive and feel good, and that's fine. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, Building fulfilling lives without a romantic partner. Okay, so if you're single, that says a lot right there in your life. That says a lot. Building fulfilling lives without a romantic partner. Are you okay with that? Can you go through life and that's good and you can. It's not a problem. But in my mind, and maybe I should not say this, but in my mind, if we're moving in a direction where we're trying to be right and do the things that the Most High, if you want me to say it that way, wants you to be and wants you to say, then you can't entertain certain things. If you get what I'm saying. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, so when you're saying, "Hey, I just want to be single. I just want to be single. I just want to be single," what are you going to be single and doing? Why are
Mm-hmm.
you going to be single? What situations are you going to entertain? So that's just a lot to have to deal with. And when you're over 50, that's even more simple. That's even more of a conversation.
That is so true.
Oh,
That
so
is so
when you're
true.
50, think the conversations change a little bit and they become a little bit harder and they become a little bit pressing issues. That's my
Yep.
take.
That is so true. That is so true. So,
Mhm.
and then thinking about too, because I had talked about this earlier, when you're physically attracted to someone. So
Mhm.
let's look at physical intimacy. So when
Mhm.
you're navigating through the changes in
Mhm.
our bodies, in our libido, and in
Mhm.
our energy because of
Mhm.
aging. So these are going to make some differences in our relationships.
Mhm.
We as women go through menopause. And so we're going through a lot of changes within our bodies. Men go through, I forgot what theirs is called, where they go through stuff with their bodies.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, oh, there's so much, y'all. And I believe this has to do with the food that we're eating. I'm serious. Even 20 and 30-year-old young men right now, it's so popular for them to be taking Viagra because they have erectile dysfunction.
Sheesh. Seriously? Like
Yes,
age?
20s and 30s. Google it. I mean, there's an uprise in the number of men in their
Mhm.
20s and 30s that are having erectile dysfunction.
Oh my God.
And I know. And it's got a lot to do, I'm sure, with our food and what we're consuming in our bodies, because
Mhm.
that hasn't been the case always.
Right.
However, our food has just gotten so much worse. And I mean, it could be a number of things. So it
Mhm.
could be like the pornography. So many young guys
Oh
are
yes,
doing the
I've heard about that. Yeah.
pornography too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Yep.
like when
Mhm.
they're around women, they're not even trying to, do whatever because they know they're going to go home and just get behind the screen and do look at
Right.
pornography.
Do their due.
Yeah, so that could be part of it. So, and so what we have to do, we have to put some input into it, y'all. We have to be creative. We have to, because of our changes in our libido, the sexual desires may not be there if you're in a
Right.
relationship as it
Mhm.
was before. So, what you have to do is be creative and just
Mhm.
maintain physical closeness. You'd be surprised when you're intimate, and we know that
Mhm.
intimate is that conversation,
Right.
the just the connecting, touching each other, holding each other while you're
Mhm.
sitting there having a deep conversation, that can lead to a physical encounter, a sexual encounter.
That's true.
It just, you have to be creative with your physical closeness and be able
Mhm.
to put yourself in those situations.
Mhm.
and then let go of that performance pressure, because now there's so much out there that people talk about, especially with men, well, men and women, I'm going to say, that they are talking about, especially when they're looking at the pornography and when they are listening to people on social media, honey.
Right.
They are probably talking about all the different things that this person did and that person did that made me feel like this and all this kind of stuff. And so then they're under pressure to perform to those kind of levels, you know.
Yeah.
Just let go
That,
of that.
yeah, gotta let go of that. But you can't,
Mhm.
Lord Jesus, you can't, there's so much I can say.
Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus, honey, you cannot, that pressure, honey, let that pressure go. Let it
Mm-hmm.
go. Let it go.
It's not
Um,
even a big thing. And you'd be surprised in 5 or 10 years when you look back at that pressure, how little that even meant.
it didn't even, you would let just take over you for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason, honey. So instead of just focusing on that, um, just focus on fun and playfulness. Focus on trying new experiences together. That could be something so totally
Mm-hmm.
different than what your mind is thinking. How are you gonna know if you don't ever if you don't try?
Mm-mm.
Try something new and different. It could be like game night. Look, I like game night. I love playing games. Oh my goodness, I love playing games. And I never really knew how competitive I was up until maybe a couple of years ago. I'm like,
Okay.
I don't like losing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so playing games, and those can also lead to um, romantic gestures,
Mm-hmm.
little things here and there. Those matter. That matters. Oh my God, I can tell you something that's really romantic to me still at this day.
Okay.
It's just a little gesture, but some people think, ugh. But pulling my chair out for me when I'm getting ready to sit down.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Doesn't that make you feel
Oh,
special? And
oh
taking my coat off.
yes, taking my coat off, helping me put my coat on, opening the car door for me, assisting me when I'm getting out of the car, holding the door open when we're going to a store, those little
Yes.
gestures. Or I could be sitting down watching TV, just sitting there watching TV. And the next thing I know, you can bring me some popcorn or bring me a bottle of water, just little
Mm-hmm.
gestures.
I know.
It's the simple
Chivalry
things.
is not dead.
It is not dead. Those simple things go a long way. Or, oh, I'm going to stop at the grocery store. What do you need? Get the groceries.
Mm-hmm.
But then what? Guess what? Come in first with a bouquet of flowers.
Mm.
Simple things, simple gestures that are just
I
so
know.
great.
I
Those are gestures
know.
without even having to say, hey, do this. You
I
know?
know.
Oh my gosh. So those are romantic gestures and those things that matters. I know
Yes,
it
they
matters to
do.
you, it matters to me. Um, and then also reimagining sex and intimacy, not just intercourse. Oh, honey, just lying there, just
Mm-hmm.
just watching as you're watching TV, holding hands.
Together, exactly.
Sure. I feed you popcorn, you feed me popcorn.
Exactly.
Joking about the movie. So now we betting about the movie. What's gonna
Mm.
happen? Is this who do that? So it's like all that playfulness, all that
Yes,
fun,
it
and now
is.
it's just so cool. And then just to sit there and just fall asleep because I fall asleep in a minute, honey. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. If I'm in a relaxed state,
Yeah,
I
you
will
knocked
fall
off.
asleep. I'll be knocked out. And fall asleep, and then just to feel that little peck on the forehead or the cheek or whatever.
Oh, that the
So,
forehead
something
kiss
so
is the
simple,
best.
baby,
Hmm.
baby,
Yeah,
reimagining sex and intimacy, not just intercourse. I
I know.
mean, that's a
That's a
whole other
word.
world of its own.
That's a
Oh
word.
my goodness,
I
girl.
know. And when you're talking about the chivalry, I love it. I get so excited. It thrills me when I go to a restaurant or a store with my sons and I see them start to speed up as we approach the door and they open the door for me to walk through.
Yes. Honey,
Isn't
we
that
raised them
something?
boys right. We raised those
Yes.
women right. Raised them right, girl. We put
Yeah,
them down. Oh, honey.
absolutely. And then talking about taboo topics, y'all, because there's some taboo topics that this is good to openly, really get out in the open so that there's no shame, there's no bad feelings, no nothing about any negativity about menopause. Let them thoroughly understand it. Explain everything you're going through. And for erectile dysfunction, if the person is experiencing that, explain it to your partner. Explain what's going on. Explain those hormone changes so everybody knows we're educated and then we know how to deal with it.
Exactly.
And any medical help, you guys, I'm a proponent of therapy.
Yeah.
So any issues, any help that you need medically, go to the doctor. Any help that you need mentally or with your relationship, get counseling. You can get counseling just for relationships,
Yes.
even online. And just to help you get in a pathway that you need to be going into and not just all over trying to figure it out yourself, giving you a strategy on how to talk to each other. And, I hear you saying this so that you feel, so that you don't cut off communication. When someone's talking to you, the therapy will help you when you're having a conversation, instead of letting it turn into an argument. Okay, I hear what you're saying as this. Is this what you're saying? What do you need from me? You know how to talk to each other in those ways. So
Exactly. Exactly.
look for those resources, and there's no shame in your game when it
Mm-mm.
comes to helping yourself therapeutically or medically, or simply, educating each other on those topics like menopause,
Yes.
hormone changes, and erectile dysfunction.
Oh, honey, I just have something to say to that menopause.
Okay.
I had to have that conversation.
Yes.
Life is different for me. It is different in so many ways. And I had to have that conversation. But by the grace of God, it was a smooth conversation. He
Oh, good.
understands. Um, he understands the mood swings, the hot flashes, the eating, the irritability. He understands it all. And he just said, let me know when it passes. Let me know when it
I
passes, and then I'll come back in
know.
your presence. So I like that. So he's willing, because it's this hot this menopause is something totally different.
It
It's a
is.
different beast. So yeah, so when you mentioned that, honey, yeah, we had those conversations, and you gotta be open, because what you don't want to have is surprises to pop up
I know.
and
I
not
know.
understanding, because that menopause does affect your brain as well, affect the way you think. It affects how swiftly you think. Um,
Mm.
so it does, and you talking about brain fog, and I know we've all had this to happen. You leave out of the kitchen, get ready to go somewhere, but then you forgot where you was going or what you was going to get. So you go back and try to retrack. Well, with me in menopause, I spend a lot of time trying. I'm like, well, what? Why did I forget that? What was I trying to do? And I mean, I'm going into overload, trying to remember what it is I forgot, and it gets
Mm.
irritating because it will happen so much. It will happen so often, um,
Mm.
and it's like it would be taking control. And he's like, just sit down. When you're not thinking about it, it'll come to you. Just sit down. It could be
Mm-hmm.
hours later, and then I think
It'll
about
come back.
it. It'll come back.
Yeah. And you know what though? I experience sometimes going into a room to
Mm-hmm.
get something,
Mm-hmm.
and or even reaching over in the kitchen on a certain part of the kitchen, and I'm like, what was that coming over here again? But I have to remember and then I started researching it too, because I'm not going through menopause, I'm already finished with that.
Mm-hmm.
But also lack of sleep is a cause for people like going into a room and saying, what did I come in here for? And
Mm-hmm.
then I always look at my watch to see how much sleep. And if I got some good sleep, I'm like, okay, so let me think about what it was. And then I'll say, okay, it's right there. This is the drawer. But I was going to say this about menopause. Menopause is so different per person, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
Val talks about menopause. I have other girlfriends who have talked about menopause. And God, I thank you so much. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Lucky
I
you.
don't. Girl, that's what I'm saying. Val, I feel like my whole menopause journey, lasted maybe a year in my
Oh
50s.
my God.
Hot flashes, I'm gonna say I had hot flashes maybe 6 to 9 months.
Cynthia, you were
And
blessed.
then I know, never did I have any mood swings. I didn't have any of that stuff. And so when people talk to me about that, and
Mhm.
then one day I went to the gynecologist for my exam, and my gynecologist was doing my exam. She said, "Oh, well, it looks like your ovaries have stopped working." And I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "Yep, menopause is completely over for you." And I said, "Oh, okay."
Oh my
I
God,
know.
Cynthia. Oh my
I was
goodness.
blessed. I was blessed, Val.
You were blessed, honey, because it's sleep deprived is the thing. Running to the restroom, being hot,
See, I
um,
did it.
food. Sometimes you want to eat something. This is what's happening to me. Sometimes you want to eat, sometimes you don't want to eat. Sometimes food affects you differently, and
Hmm.
exercising, everything is just so different. But I'm going to get off that horse because I can keep on that one. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about that another day, honey. Let's
yes,
talk
yes.
about this
We could
desire
do a
for
whole
communication.
session on menopause, I guess, huh?
Yes, ma'am. And we need
Okay,
to.
okay.
We need to have you guys come on in with us when we do that menopause session because it, like
Hmm.
Cynthia said, it affects people differently. So we want to hear about that.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
but to stick with the program,
Hmm.
desires and communication, guys. It's okay if your desire fluctuates. When I say it's okay, it is really okay. Because when you're over a certain age, it can be over 50, over 55, over 60, over 65, it's okay to have those tough conversations about your desires. Um, what it is you like it, what you don't like, when you don't want it. It's okay to have those conversations because now you're 50. You know how our grandparents, they would just say anything, no matter what, who was in the room, they would just say something, they would curse or just tell you about yourself. See,
Hmm.
when you get over 50, you deserve that right. You can talk about anything, say it how you want to say it, when you want to say it.
Hmm.
What comes up can just come out. Okay.
Hmm.
So how to bring up those difficult or awkward topics with your partner? Sit down and just have those conversations with them. Remember, you guys are older now. You don't have anything to hide. You know, you understand that things are changing, your body is changing, timing is changing, your brain is changing, your conversations are changing. So have those tough conversations if you are in a relationship at 50 years old and over 50, and if you think that that's going to stop you from being in a relationship, your desires. If you think it's going to stop you, have those open communication with people. You just never know.
Hmm.
You never know how the person on the receiving end is listening or may be going through something similar. It's not always a bed of roses, but we expect that. So always have those conversations, okay? Handling mismatched um, libidos with empathy. Child, that's another story too, child. That's another
That's a
story.
whole nother
That's a
program.
whole nother program right there, honey. But honey, be empathetic because it's really okay.
It is okay, and empathy is the
Right.
word. Hmm.
Oh my God, I can tell you, I'm built totally different. I'm just totally different, honey. When it comes to that stuff, I can live without it. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
There are a lot of people that can't. Me, I'm one that can. It could be 2098, and I would be just fine. From 2025 to 2098, I'm fine without it. But you got to have those conversations. You got to have those tough conversations because as you get
Hmm.
older, things do change.
Yes. And your partner needs to be able to understand
Yeah.
that you're fine, and
Mhm.
usually I'm going to say this about that,
Mhm.
Val.
Mhm.
Usually those of us who can go a long time
Mhm.
without any
Mhm.
kind of physical relationship like
Mhm.
that is because we are fulfilling we're filling our life with other things that are keeping us busy,
That
and
makes more
so we're not
sense.
even like your career or
Mhm.
your family or whatever, and it could be both, but you're not even thinking about that because you're so fulfilled in these
Mhm.
areas.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
Val,
Yes.
will you take us into cultural and family, and I'll wrap us up?
Yes, ma'am. I sure will. So let's talk about that. Overcoming shame from religious cultural or generational beliefs. So how do you handle that? You're over 50, you're aging. I may be a Baptist, you may be Buddhist. How do you handle those things? That can become a factor. So these are things that you want to talk about, because you're now going to you're going to become a family. This is if you're wanting to be in a good relationship, those family expectations. So you got to talk about that too. You just can't talk about your hobbies, your love, your desires for something. You got to really talk about culture, your culture. You got to talk about your expectations. You got to talk about religion. Sometimes those are really tough topics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can attest to when I was younger, 20s and 30s, it wasn't really that big of a deal, because at that point in time, I wasn't trying to be who I am today and to become even closer to God. At that time, I was willy-nilly, it didn't matter. But now it matters to me. So you got to have those conversations. That may be a difficult conversation, but that's something you're going to have right off the top. And this is where you don't want that representative, like Cynthia said, to just show up. No, I need you.
Right.
I need you to have this conversation with me, and let's be real. Let's be real about it. Are we going to be equally yoked? Unequally yoked? How does that feel to you? What does that mean to you? Is it a factor? Is it really going to work? Do you think it's going to work? Is it a belief that it won't work? Those are all questions that you got to ask. So so you got to have those conversations. That may be a bit shameful, but you got to have those conversations, and you got to be real. This is the time where you say what you want to say and say how you feel, not what the person on the other end wants to hear.
Right. And when you're talking about cultural, that's huge too, because especially now, I can't date somebody who's from a different political party. So, and that's just me. Not everybody's that way. Or, you have to look at your culture with your races. If you're interracial, you guys need to talk about that and your families and acceptance and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and your generational beliefs. What would your grandparents consider being okay? But
yes,
yeah,
and also you want to throw in which we didn't have this, but we're going to throw this in too. We want to throw in mental stability. We want to talk about mental stability, not just from you, but from family as well. How do you handle certain situations? How have you handled certain situations in the past? Is there any type of mental illness that's going on within the family?
Oh, that's huge.
Oh,
that's huge. You need to know that up front.
You need to know that up front. Those things are key. Those things are huge. So not only over 50, you need to have that conversation. You need to have that
anytime at 20, honey.
Exactly. So you got to have those conversations. Encouraging intergenerational understanding. Man, we have to understand each other, where we come from, what we want out of life, where we're going. We have to have those conversations. Everything is really key. Now, the difference in having them 20 and 30 and having them 50 now, or 50 and over, remember, we're at that time now where we say what we want to say, how we want to say it, but we got to be mindful of how we say things.
That's true. Yep.
Got to be mindful of how we say things. Now we're open book. I'm telling you what I want with life. I'm telling you how I want this. I'm like I said, I'm Baptist, and you say you're what now? You're Jehovah Witness. Okay. All right. So how are we going to be on alignment? What is it that you truly believe? This is what I believe. Let's have these conversations. Now I'm very, very big on you. We're us praying together. Now, are you going to pray for me?
Right.
Can I pray for you? Are we going to pray together? Are we going to go to church? We don't. If you don't go every Sunday, that's fine. But are we going to go? When you go, what you thinking? What you doing when you go? All this stuff.
Right. So, all that.
So it's a lot of conversation to be had. And when you're 50 and over and you're dating, those are really great questions, great conversations to have, because guess what? We now at this point have more life behind us than ahead of us. And we don't want to be wasting time.
We don't have time to waste. Time is like our currency at this point, y'all. It's something we can never get back. So that is our most valuable asset, one of our most valuable assets. So we're going to wrap this up today and talk about the key recaps that we have that are key takeaways. Love and intimacy don't have to have an expiration date, and they shouldn't. Communication and self-awareness are always crucial, y'all. And pleasure and connectivity are always worth pursuing. I'm going to share some books. I've got 3 books that I love and they have helped me with relationships. The first one is called For Better or For Best. And let me hold it up. I'm hoping y'all can see it. And it's by Gary Smalley. For Better or For Best, as in for better or worse, better or for best. It's by Gary Smalley for relationship advice. The next one is Single, Sassy, Single, and Satisfied. Okay. And this is and staying satisfied, the secrets to loving the life you're living. And this is by Michelle McKinney Hammond. Okay. And then this is one that I use whenever I get in a new relationship, y'all. I've had this book for decades, honey. It's called Black Signs, an astrological guide to passion, romance, and relationships. It's by Thelma Balfour. And if you don't really subscribe to astrology, signs and things like that, then, you may not be into this. However, I will say this, because what this does, it lays out the each person by astrological sign. And it lays out a man or a woman by that sign. So it's different versus the gender and it lays out the compatibility of that sign with every other sign. How compatible you guys are. And then it lays out how sexually compatible you guys are. So everything is covered in this book. It's like whenever I date somebody and I ask them, when is your birthday? And then I look them up, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see where this might go. And it's interesting to go through the relationship and see if that was true. Y'all, I'm telling you, every single one of mine has been true. It turned out when I got into the relationship, it was right. They communicated the way they did. It said in here, and then the sexual thing, all of it. So, but yeah, so I love all of those books, and those are there for your reading. That's my little list of books to suggest.
Oh, wow.
I
like
know, Val, you got a word for us?
Girl, I'm still thinking about those books, but yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll put that on the list and put that on the comments.
Good. My word for today is something so simple. Don't let nothing shake your faith. As we're getting older and we're going into different things of life, we want to live life more abundantly and happily. Don't let nothing shake your faith. As Tabitha Brown would say, don't you let nobody mess up your day. You have a great day and a great life. Live your life the way that you see fit for yourself.
Yes.
And welcome those people that see it your way.
Exactly. That is a beautiful word right there. It's all about you, and it's all about being happy for you. So yes, I totally agree with that. Y'all, thanks for stopping by, and have yourself an amazing day. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe is the number one. What you got on there? Oh, coffee. I hear you. I know, and mine is, this is a good day to have a good day, honey.
I love that.
We all gonna have a good day. Y'all, thanks for stopping by for Coffee Chats Unfiltered today. Have a great one. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Go Falcons.
Go Falcons. Go. For real, go.
Go away.